All right. Here we are. Hang on. We got the others here too.
Ew.
Sorry.
Oh, look who it is.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
How goes it?
What's up?
Not much.
All right. Ooh, I had a little bit of delay there just starting.
Uh,
What are you guys up to?
not much. We had another baby appointment, so everything everything seems to be doing good.
You want cough drops?
Yes.
All right, I'll be right back.
You've been
glad we
choking.
Yeah. No, glad we didn't help out with the 48-hour because Nico and I and the kids are sick. Luckily, it's not COVID, but
Just summer cold.
yep. And then with me being pregnant and making more mucus than my body usually makes, it's hit me harder.
Yeah, that's
because now all that congestion, which was going to be awful anyway, is like 10 times worse.
Well, 48 was a little bit insane. We'll talk about that a little bit once we actually officially start the show. I'll share a little bit.
Oh, and Nico and I were thinking, if you want, we could probably cut a story because Zach not being here.
Yeah, well, but my default plan was to cut Zach's story, but if there's another option.
Well, we were thinking, honestly, Top Gun or Winnie the Pooh, because it's a trailer that neither of us have seen.
Oh,
it gives no dates. It gives no timeline.
That's getting ready to be solved.
Okay.
We're going to do a live reaction to the trailer.
Oh, God. Okay.
All right.
So yeah.
Then, yeah, I'm cool cutting the Maverick story, the Top Gun story.
We talked a lot about Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Made a lot of money.
We have. It's just kind of it's interesting how it kind of ties into another story later, but not that much. So we can easily cut that.
Okay. And I have updated film ball, so.
Good. I can hear those numbers without Zach here. That's great.
Yeah. In last place, a surprising development, Zach.
Steven somehow stole Top Gun Maverick.
I don't know how it was magic.
It was magic in the form of him slipping the person who runs the sheets like a crisp $100 bill. Magic.
All right, let's see. I'm just gonna start us because I feel like only being the three of us.
Yeah, it works. I think you mean four of us. Look at this angel.
Well, technically, four of us. Correct. No. Photo bombing.
She's like,
photo bombing.
I started the podcast.
Totally photo bombing.
Majestically. Look at that.
Yeah, very majestically. All right. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Openings.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. What do you guys want to do?
I mean, we could do openings like normal. Would you short a person?
Okay.
Yeah. I'll do two. I'll do the first and last.
All right, I'll do the middle. I'll do Regal.
I'll do House of Dragons and Winnie the Pooh.
Perfect. Oh, Silver Bullet says hello to all of us.
Hello.
And Nico, Bub, and Bub on the way. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
On this episode of the Culturesmash cast,
How to Train Your Dragon 2, Targaryen edition.
Regal going bankrupt.
And oh bother, you don't want to take a trip through this 100-acre woods.
It's the Culturesmash cast, episode 606 for August the 31st, 2022. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of Culturesmash.tv. Nico?
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Tina Qualls, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
All right, what have you guys been up to? How was your weekend?
Miserable. I was sick.
Yeah, we started getting sick, so we probably had a less eventful one than you had.
But it was not COVID, so.
Yeah, as long as it's not COVID.
I did finish book 2 of the Expanse series.
And what did you think of that?
It was also great. I really enjoyed it. I'm in book 3 now.
Yeah,
I agree.
I got some exciting news over the weekend that they're turning one of my favorite books into an Amazon Prime movie.
Oh, what's that?
My Best Friend's Exorcism, which I think you would enjoy.
I saw that. I
think you would enjoy the shit out of that book.
Oh yeah? I was curious.
It's basically two teenage girls. One of them gets possessed by a demon, and her friend's like, "This is bullshit. I need to save my friend." But it's like full of 80s nostalgia, and it has some gross scenes, some like gory scenes.
Yeah.
So
I think that movie is soon, actually.
Yeah, it's like next week or the week after.
Yeah, very soon.
Yeah.
Well, so Zach is out today, making a very big purchase. He'll be back in 2 weeks. We won't be here next week. This time next week, we will be screening at our local Regal Theater our 48-hour film project.
Which is what you did this weekend.
Which is what I did this weekend, which nearly killed us. And speaking of babies nearly destroyed us. It was something.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. It's one of those things, we've been doing these 48-hour film projects for a long time. And, our actor group is aging, and a lot of them have babysitters now and are only available for a number of hours. And we ended up having to do what normally we would spend 8, 10, 12 hours on in about 4.
Ooh.
And it nearly destroyed us. It was something. It was a really stressful shoot. It was one of the most stressful shoots.
Oof. I have a nephew who, if you're wanting a younger actor, he's all for wanting to become an actor. So.
Well, next year, we're doing it again. And we ended up doing a real cute little movie. Sunday was actually a really good day, editing-wise. It wasn't too big of a deal. The post-production went pretty smooth. So anybody who's listening or watching doesn't know what the 48-hour film project is. It's a project where filmmakers in different cities around the world get together on a Friday, draw a genre out of a hat, get a line of dialogue, a character, and a prop, and they have 48 hours to make a 7-minute short film. And this was Nashville's weekend. And there may have been, I'm sure there were probably other events in other cities too the same weekend. But so this was our 11th movie. Our 11th. We are the oldest team doing the 48-hour.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing it the longest. Most people, I guess, get too stressed and tap out, or all their cast gets older and has responsibilities that make it difficult for them to be away from their household for such a long period of time.
Yeah.
But our particular story, we kind of put it on ourselves too. Our particular story this year was shot here in my house, and we learned a hard lesson shooting during the day in this house because of all the windows.
Yeah.
That it's not a good idea, so we had to push it to the evening. Ooh. And by pushing to the evening, people had to be home for their kids and stuff. So yeah, it was something, you guys.
I also hear you had some onlookers.
It's a picture. Well, you probably saw that picture I put in our group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a pretty funny thing. One of our cam ops came over to show me this picture. He's like, "You feel anybody breathing down your neck?" I'm like, "You?" He said, "Anybody you don't know?" I'm like, "No." And he showed me this picture of these people in an Airbnb next door with their heads up, staring through the window, watching us film like it was some big thing happening. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, we finished, turned it in on time, did our thing, and it literally has taken me till today to feel like fully recovered from it. It was epic.
Oof.
But I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's a goofy, weird little movie.
I'm excited to see it.
So. Not on the level of epicness of the one you guys were in the previous year. That one was probably our most epic.
At least it's cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have to bring a change of clothes.
And also cleaner in rating. We realized all of a sudden we had done a PG rated movie this year. So that's a shocker, right? No R, no NC-17. We're just a little PG rated movie. It's fine.
Just need to do some quick ADR to throw in some fucks.
Exactly. I should do an expanded director's cut.
Yeah.
So with that said, tomorrow night on YouTube over on the Twinflix channel, I'm being interviewed about the 48 hours. So if you want to know a deeper dive into all that, the process and all that stuff, you can watch that tomorrow night. It'll be this same time over there in that channel. So that should be cool. So yeah, that was this weekend. I'm ready to get back to a little bit of normalcy, watching some movies, right?
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I just want to say a few things. If you're listening to audio, join us every Wednesday night live on YouTube. I know you can listen to us on the treadmill, but if you join us on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, starting at 7-ish CST, we were 7:15 tonight. You can follow us on your platform of choice and interact, and we'll answer your questions live as we do our show. Special thanks to Skinny Mixes for supporting the Culture Smash cast. Skinny Mixes are coffee and dessert syrups that are 0 sugar, 0 calories, and 0 to 2 carbs. Head on over to skinnymixes.com and try some of their syrups, such as white chocolate, salted chocolate, dark chocolate, salted caramel, and the variety of cocktail mixes they offer, including margarita and a bunch of other fruit flavors. Use promo code Culturesmash for 15% discount on your order. So, movies. This was a record-breaking for the year box office weekend for being the lowest, because it was ridiculously low this weekend.
Yeah, I heard nothing came out. Like nothing was being seen. Nothing came out.
Yeah, there's one movie, actually 2 movies that opened this weekend, and you'll see they're pretty low. Number 10 on the box office was Where the Crawdads Sing. It made 2.3 million, 81.8 so far. Terrible.
Best movie of the year so far.
Yeah. Number 9, Thor: Love and Thunder, 2.6 million. It's made 336.5 million. Disney announced that one's hitting Disney Plus next month. Yep. Number 8 is Minions: The Rise of Gru, made 2.7 million. It's made 354 million so far. Here's one of the new ones. Opening new this weekend, 3,000 Years of Longing. Opened with $2.9 million. That's pretty paltry, but it's not like super crammed with, the hottest big name cast. It's got good actors in it, but not your typical big draw. And also George Miller, which I guess a lot of people don't even know who George Miller is.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are at this point several years removed from Fury Road.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not like Fury Road at all. I mean, this definitely summer seems like a weird season for this movie.
It does.
Yeah.
I'm torn on because I actually have a day off tomorrow, and I'm going to go probably see a movie, and I want to go see that one, but I'm probably gonna go for something else.
I'm probably gonna see it at some point this weekend, depending on my schedule. My recommendation to you is obviously to go see Top Gun.
Not number 6 on the list. DC Super Pets.
No, not DC Super Pets. It made $4 million. It made 74 million so far. Number 5 is Dragon Ball Z Superhero. That one made 4.6 million. It's made 30.8 so far, almost 31 million. It's crazy.
Not bad for an anime.
I was gonna say, it is a franchise anime though.
Yeah.
That people know.
Name. It was number 1 last week too.
Yeah.
So we skipped last week. Yeah.
Number 4 is Top Gun Maverick. It made 4.7 million. It's made 691 million so far.
Boy.
It's sad news for me. Number 3 is Beast. It made 4.8 million. It's made 20 million so far. We talked about this movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of liked it.
It has 2 movies on the list, interestingly.
That's funny. The CGI is terrible, but I had fun with it. Number 2 is Bullet Train. It made 5.6 million. It's made 78 million so far. And also opening new this weekend, the other movie I'm going to try and see at some point this weekend is The Invitation.
It made
6.8 million on its opening weekend. It feels a little bit, based off the trailer, like a Ready or Not knockoff, but I still want to see it.
Yeah, I think, honestly, this is probably just like the weird hormone logic that I have going on. But one of the main reasons I want to see it is the main girl character's name is Evie. And I was like, But I just, it's just not a single one of these movies for a weekend bring-in, even the ones that came out were at the top of the list. None of them broke 10 million.
Yeah, there's nothing big in there. I wouldn't expect The Invitation to be that big. It's a small horror movie. And it's not going to change this weekend either, because the only new thing we have opening is Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. That one is rated, sitting at 81% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. I think it's going to be a smaller movie too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to do well. I saw trailers for this. I, for some reason, thought this was a TV show.
Because it looks like a TV show.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't really look like a movie. And also just like the content looks like it's something that would take episodes. But
yeah. I mean, it is shot mockumentary style, which is fine.
Yeah.
But even this stuff that's not like that office-y kind of interview stuff all looks TV-ish. I think this is something, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe it'll do well in the theater, but I feel like this is something that should be showing on Hulu. To me, it's what it looks like.
I can see that, yeah.
All right. What we got happening for the stupid film ball?
All right. Well, Steven, and just like a quick little update, really, we only have a couple of movies, like 3 movies that don't have any numbers yet. Nathan still needs a couple more days for the 3,000 Years of Longing to start gaining any money.
Mhm.
Steven, you have The Samaritan.
Actually, isn't Samaritan, did that not get a theatrical release? Because that's on Amazon.
Is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I think it's either on Amazon or going to be on Amazon.
I didn't know that.
Ooh, Steven, you might be done.
Damn.
Because you only have one more week of Bullet Train left before your movie's done. And then Zach has The Bride. So, I mean, it's pretty safe to call it at this point, like at least position-wise. So, tentative final ranking, Steven in 5th place, $177.7 million.
Damn it.
Nathan is in 4th place with $394.6 million. I'm in 3rd place. It's okay. You know, it's bronze. Well, we can deal. $526.2 million. Nico is in 2nd place with $605 million. And Zach is number 1 with $854.3 million.
Yeah, I'm so annoyed. Samaritan is on Amazon Prime.
It's on there now.
Yeah, I think it opened.
Oh my God.
I think it was this weekend.
Ow.
Son of a bitch. What's up, We Nerds?
To you.
Damn it. We Nerds, you should actually play the next film ball with us. So if you're listening or watching the stream now or later, Film Ball is our game where we take a 4-month block, get the domestic films releasing in that block, and take 100 virtual bucks and bid for the movies we think are going to make the most box office in their first 4 weeks. And then we just smack talk each other. And right now I'm getting hammered for this.
Oh, yeah. You are getting fucked up the butt. My
God. Yeah, it's hurting. Yeah, I feel it too. I've been biting that pillow for the last month. It's a long, drawn out death for me.
But hey, like, what is it? Next week we do our bidding for the fall and winter break.
Yeah, I think it's
a chance to beat Zach. I mean,
now don't we have a day adjust? Aren't we doing that Tuesday or Tuesday?
Thursday, I think.
Thursday. Yeah. So this time next week, if you're watching or listening, we're going to be streaming Thursday instead of Wednesday because we're going to be at our 48-hour film screening Wednesday.
And let's be honest, most of us really enjoy the fall and winter ones because that's when like the end of the year biggers come out.
Mm-hmm.
So
the summer one is in a weird way, the summer one is the biggest movies, but it's the least competitive because it's always a situation where if you can get a combination of a couple of movies, you're almost unbeatable.
Yeah.
But the thing that's surprising about this summer is that we bet on the wrong combination.
Yeah.
Like, myself included. I thought I was a runaway hit with Thor, DC Superbats, a couple other things, and Top Gun just
Top Gun, and surprisingly Minions.
Minions isn't
Minions.
Like, well, considering they make up almost 8 million.
Okay. The Wee Nerd says I have a PhD in smack talk from Suck at You. Suck at You. You know, I knew Top Gun was going to make money. I knew it was going to be big, but no one could have predicted
that was a huge blow up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty phenomenal. I hope they don't do another one though. I really don't want to see that.
Yeah.
It's good though. It's good. So anyway, moving on.
All right, in the first story.
Yep. So,
Oh, wait, do you want to do the live reaction pre or post story?
Why don't we do
yes.
it? We'll watch it at the end. Do the
Okay.
story and then we'll watch it at the end.
Pooh and Piglet get into a bloody mess in the upcoming honey-filled indie horror flick, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. A nearly 2-minute trailer dropped on Wednesday of director Reese Waterfield's unexpected and now anticipated horror retelling of A. Milne's 1926 famed collection of children's short stories. In the first look, Christopher Robin, who's played by Nikolai Leon, has returned to the 100-acre wood to introduce his soon-to-be wife, Mary, played by Paula Coys, to his anthropomorphic animal childhood friends. But the place where he once played with the likes of Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, and more has become a dark, abandoned nightmare.
It's so weird. We nerds, I know you. This movie is custom made for you. I can't wait to see you. You guys like. Okay, so we have
just
for behind. Go ahead.
For clarification, for those who are like, how the are they getting away with this? What's the mouse got to say? The Winnie the Pooh the short stories went into public domain earlier this year after Disney let them lapse. So Walt Disney Company, while owning Winnie the Pooh since like 1966, let the original trademark lapse. And from what I know, this I guess artistic representation of the characters is slightly altered to where it's not as Disney iconic.
It's not as much as Disney letting it lapse. It's just it's the age at which they would go into the public domain.
Yeah,
and Disney doesn't own the original material.
Yeah,
Disney adapted it into the familiar Winnie the Pooh's animated characters we know. So, like Tina said, those characters, those interpretations are not going to be what we see in this movie, which we're going to see in just a moment.
Oh God.
So, yeah. So here's a little background. This was initially, I had initially put this in our podcast group for planning for stories, and then I took it out because I thought, let me just play it on the stream and let you guys react to it, because I think that will be more entertaining. Yeah, the Wiener says the original stories are public domain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Tigger is a Disney character. All right, so let me just start this. And yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Is there sound?
You don't hear sound?
Oh, nope. No. Wait, I think I heard it.
It's really low to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay.
You hear it?
No.
No. Okay, I was wrong.
Okay, no sound?
No sound.
All right, hang on.
Open it up in another window.
It is open in another window?
No, I mean for her to open it up in another window so we can watch it.
Play it like side by side?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking duck. You and your common sense.
You and your common sense. Hang on. We had sound on here before. Is that something that I have to?
I don't know, but we've got it ready to go. So if you want to play on your end, we'll watch it on ours.
Okay.
Okay.
Then, hang on. Let me pull it back up. I drug my windows around, damn it. All right. So.
Just tell me when to hit the play button.
I'll tell you when to hit the play button. All right. Okay, so there it is. Now let me bring my play button back up here. You ready?
Yep.
Go. So my favorite part of that is Tina's continued like, "What the hell?" Look on her face. It's like, what the hell am I looking at right now?
I'm sitting here and I'm like, at first I'm like, okay, this looks like it's just a fan made trailer or something, because really all you see is just signs like 100 Acre Woods and R.I.P. Eeyore, and then
I love it.
Giant poo.
Like I knew what they look like. I like going in. I'd seen photos of the character, the Pooh and stuff. But
not gonna lie, I was really holding out hope that it would be the CGI, like small fuzzy ones, like from the Christopher Robin with Ewan McGregor. What is that?
I mean, I want to see it. I'm
definitely watching this, but dear God, I have no expectations. Like, as soon as it goes to like the group of girls in the Airbnb, Nico and I are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's a pretty aggressive jump.
Yeah. Oh my God. Piglet beefed up, dude. Oh God!
It's so weird.
Winnie the Pooh is supposed to be female, really. It looks like Strangers meets Disney.
It is. It seems to be exactly what this is.
I mean, the closest thing I can think of about this is like Krampus, maybe.
Yeah, that too.
I think it would be pretty phenomenal if this ended up being as good as Krampus. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but
when does this come out? Like,
I don't have a date, but they're close because look at it, it's done.
Yeah, my whole thing is I need it to come out before the end of the year so it can go on my top 10 just to piss off Zach.
I'm not gonna lie. I'll tell you right now because I don't think this is gonna happen. I was gonna try and get this movie for our 12 Hours of Terror.
I would have loved you. Forever.
I was gonna try. Yeah, it's just not working out. I was trying so hard to just slide this in about 3 a.m. 8 hours in, boom. Winnie the Pooh's killing people.
I would have woken right the fuck up and be like, let's do this. Also, Christopher Robin, that's not how marriage works. Like, that's not how marriage naming works. She doesn't take your first and last name.
It was
exactly.
The accent was really hard to place too.
Yeah.
Like, soon you'll be Christopher Mary Robbins. And I'm like,
I think he said Christopher and Mary, but
I heard Christopher Mary Robbins.
Yeah.
I'm like,
the thing I'm surprised about though is it looks like it sounds weird to say this, but that should tell you where I was really thinking is it feels like there's more money in this movie than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah.
I legit was like you. I thought it was going to be a fan-made trailer or fan-made movie, like a joke movie.
It still kind of looks like it, but like some of the shooting, it looks better and lighting looks better than
it looks like it's a fan-made movie, but it looks like this fan had some money.
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I gotta see this. I want one theater, like one screen to show it for 3 nights in the theater so I can go to the movies and see it. Yeah. Because I will go.
If that happens, we need to get a group together to see this because I have a feeling this is the movie we need to see as a group.
Oh boy.
I would love to see this at like the Belcourt where we can have decent cocktails beforehand.
Yes.
And go in there. It's that kind of movie where it's like when we saw Troll 2 years ago in the theater and a lot of us went together. It's just that kind of movie that I agree we need to go and see it. I'm here for it. That's why I wanted you guys to see that trailer because I was like, what the hell? This looks terrible and glorious at the same time.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't watch the trailer beforehand.
Yeah. And I know I've shared this on here before with sound. There's probably a switch I got to click somewhere. So I'll solve that before the next show. All right. Moving on.
All right. Well, if you do want to go to theaters, you better hurry up because Regal might be going bankrupt. Cineworld, the company that owns Regal Cinemas, has reassured that it plans to maintain operations, quote, until and following, end quote, any potential bankruptcy filings. Apparently, word about this was floating around last week, but Deadline has shared a statement from the company confirming that it is considering strategic options through which it may achieve a restructuring, including a possible voluntary Chapter 11 filing, Chapter 11 bankruptcy, in the United States and associated ancillary proceedings in jurisdictions, other countries around, yada, yada. Yeah, things aren't going so hot in Regal's bank account right now. So yeah, if Cineworld moves forward with the Chapter 11 filing, it could enter a phase of reorganization while still continuing to do business. So we could still, of course, continue to use Regals. The group is said to be evaluating this option with several other alternatives to see what it could do to kind of just help survive its current financial state. The company operates more than 9,000 screens in 751 locations around the world, including Picture House and Cineworld Cinemas in the UK and Ireland, Cinema City in Europe, Yes Planet in Israel, and Regal Cinema in the US is the second largest theater chain in the world following AMC, which has also weathered post-pandemic issues partly because of becoming a meme stock. So maybe that's what Regal needs to do.
Not going to lie, I still have AMC stock.
I wanted to buy stock in Regal. When I bought AMC, I was going to buy both, but I couldn't find it on because it's not a domestic company.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it. So that's on thin.
Cineworld was allegedly relying on blockbuster films, such as this year we had The Batman, Top Gun, Thor, Love and Thunder, to bolster cinema admission sales, but numbers are lower than expected. The group anticipates the admission levels to remain low as a result of a limited film slate, meaning a positive turn in profits isn't predicted until at least the end of 2022.
And then who knows how much Movie Pass coming back will affect it.
Oh my God, I can't believe Movie Pass is coming back.
I
got that email and I was like, bitch, you play it.
Steven, you got the email, right, about like signing up for the wait list of Movie Pass?
I didn't get it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got to go and look and see if it got bumped into my spam because we were all on it at the same time. The thing is, I don't feel like I need it because I only go to Regal anyway because it's right by the house.
Yeah,
it's the same thing here. Like if it was a system that kind of merged the two subscription programs, like Regal and AMC, that'd be really nice.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what Movie Pass is supposed to do, right? Isn't it?
That's what I say. It's like if it actually, but I don't expect it to work. I haven't looked too heavily into the new Movie Pass because right now it's a waiting list. Like you sign up for a waiting list to possibly get it.
Right.
And I don't expect it to work well with Regal or AMC.
I don't expect it to work.
Yeah, that too. I don't expect it to work.
Yeah, because I don't feel like Regal or AMC have a reason to give any discounts to Movie Pass because they've got their own subscription plans that are pretty popular, I think, among people who would buy them to begin with. I mean, the Regal one is $21 and it's all you can eat.
The one thing I'm curious about, like these Regal, the Cinemark proceedings, is they aren't really talking about any impact, positive or negative, that subscription programs like Regal Unlimited has had on the service. I don't foresee it being a situation where people are kind of using it more than they anticipated, as was the case with Movie Pass. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Regal going into this with seeing the failure of Movie Pass and having a lot of data on their customers because they have their loyalty program already. I think they launched this with a good understanding of what would happen. I think they're right. It's just that there's not a lot of stuff coming out in the theaters right now.
Well, and the other thing too is they're able to better buffer the cost of their subscription plan with the concessions. At the end of the day, their goal is to get more people in there to buy stuff, and then they give you you get a discount that at least covers the tax on concessions, and then you get points where they don't always give you free popcorn, but they give you a free upgrade, so you got to buy it to begin with, which is fine with me, and I think it's smart on their part to do that.
Yeah, the profit margin of like the upgrade, the popcorn is ridiculously small for Regal. It's like you're getting all the money up front. Well, like when you pay for the small, it's like what it costs for them to upgrade you is nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I would really love to know if this subscription program is having any impact on this one way or the other. I would hope it would be positive because at least it's getting some people in the door. And like we just talked about concessions, I just don't know if there's enough stuff really drawing people to theaters right now. Like the numbers.
Well, and I also think
like this week, as we just talked about how terrible this box office week was.
Yeah, there's a couple of really bad weeks, and I don't know what's coming out the week after that. We're in that sort of dull time. Usually when you get those movies like The Invitation that are horror movies that are going to top out at 20 million and they're kind of gone. You know, things will pick up in October when the new Halloween comes out and there's a handful of other like some Blumhouse things and whatever.
Like once it gets to the trifecta of the holidays, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, that's when we're going to see a lot more impactful movies coming out. Not just impactful as like, oh, Oscar bait, but impactful as in getting that money.
But also, you know what I think is it doesn't sound like they anticipate any change, like the customer is going to see any change if they do the bankruptcy thing.
Yeah.
I feel like the problem is, and I don't know that it's necessarily a bad problem. It's weird to say this, but I don't know if it's a bad problem. Is their company is still running the same as it was pre-pandemic, but the big impact pandemic to me has had on movie theaters is studios look at a movie and decide, is it good enough to make profit in the theater? If it's not, then we send it to streaming. So a lot of things, like it's proven out, so many things that have gone straight to streaming have ended up not being very good. Like we go and watch them and it's like, oh, well, now I know. All the way back to the live action Mulan. That movie was trash. It would have made 2 good weeks of money and then it would have crashed and burned, you know, from word of mouth. So I feel generally we're moving forward. We're going to have fewer movies in the theater. I'm hoping for higher quality. You know, there's still going to be garbage, but I'm hoping that means, at least from the big studios, they're going to reserve, you know, the more middling stuff, the mediocre stuff, and definitely send that to streaming because they can buff up their libraries with that, and that means profit for them that way. And then send their really good stuff, the Top Gun level stuff, to the theater. You know, and the Regal Cinemark is going to have to readjust how they do business to compensate for that change, but I hope that doesn't mean an immediate jump in ticket price.
I think the other thing we have to be aware of is we are very familiar with Regal, but Cinemark, as I mentioned, covers a lot of territory outside of the U.S. And we don't know what the theater in box office environment is like in those countries nearly as well as we do here.
Yeah,
so exactly.
Well, I mean, even then, just simple math, less movies going to the theater means less people going to the theater, which means less people buying concessions, which is ultimately where like a lot of their money comes from. Concessions. I mean, who fucking pays $15 for a popcorn? Me. That's who.
Yeah.
Some of
who tries who goes in with a plan not to, it smells it and it does anyway.
Exactly.
Me.
The smell, No, some of it makes me wonder if they're trying to set up for some kind of a bailout, maybe even just the US subsidiary, but I don't know.
Well, you know, if they want to do something like, for example, break up the company, you know, and make Regal more investable domestically or something like that, the bankruptcy will protect them from creditors while they figure that out. And I think that's what's probably going to happen. I don't know that they're breaking up the company, but I think it's something on that level where they need where they need the protection to get it done.
And it wouldn't be a dumb move either. Like it's the savvy business move. Sometimes you got to break your toy in order for you to still play with it.
Yeah, because and they're probably also pretty top heavy because theaters pre-pandemic were, you know, they were, I think they were downward trending a little bit because of streaming, but they were still, you know, were riding high off Endgame and stuff like that. So I mean, they were killing it.
Talk about the goose that laid the golden egg.
Right.
Speaking of eggs, dragon eggs. Shut up! I've been playing that segue for like 5 minutes. HBO has confirmed that Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, will return for a second season. The news comes just after one episode of the show aired, set 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones, which premiered on HBO and HBO Max August 21st. It was the largest premiere in HBO Max history, as close to 10 million people tuned in on opening night. Ironically, this led it to crash, so several thousand people didn't actually get to watch it. While it's unlikely the numbers will stay as high for the entirety of the 10-episode season, Game of Thrones fans in for the long haul will at least have more House of the Dragon to look forward to, thanks to the Season 2 confirmation. It's the first Game of Thrones spinoff to make it to TV, with several other ideas pitched, developed, and scrapped, including a Long Night prequel that HBO spent $30 million on. As IGN said, House of the Dragon makes it feel like Game of Thrones is back, with extra dragons.
Steven, have you watched it yet?
I've watched the first episode. I haven't watched the second.
Sell it to me.
What's that?
You
sell it to us. Pitch it to us.
You guys haven't watched it. You guys haven't watched it at all?
I haven't watched it because I have a feeling I would, like, my emotional stake would get really fragile during certain scenes involving a pregnant woman.
I didn't watch it because I was done with the franchise.
Well,
I was done.
Yeah. Okay. So it's tough. So episode 1, I thought was pretty good. You know, right after watching, I thought it was pretty good. There's some things I didn't like as much. There was a little more like non-dragon related CGI that I would have preferred to have been actual built props and sets. I feel like as much as they've spent on it, it doesn't feel as organic in some spots as they were able to make Game of Thrones feel. And also you had Lena Headey and Sean Bean there at the beginning. You had like these genre icons that are really great. And this first episode, to me, it was missing that kind of punch that I was looking for. But generally, I thought it was pretty good. And the younger girl that's going to be one of the primary actors, like characters, she was great. Like her acting, great. And it was visceral. Like the things that you like about Game of Thrones were there. The political machinations, the violence, you know, all that stuff was there. And one of the villains looks complicated and interesting. So those things together kind of, you know, for someone who it took me a long time to come to Game of Thrones. You know, I wasn't with it for a long time. I was like, this is pretty good, you know, but I don't know if it's telling that I haven't watched episode 2 yet. Like, it was pretty good, but I don't feel it to be appointment TV for me. So, pretty good. I think you guys should watch episode 1 and just see.
I think I will watch it probably this weekend.
My thing is just looking at like the clips that I've seen, the pictures that I've seen from like scenes. I look back and a lot of it is the hair, the makeup, and the costuming just feels weird to me. Like most of the Targaryen wigs right now are synthetic hair, and you can tell. You
kind of can tell, and I'm not even a rivet counter in that way, but you can kind of tell.
Whereas with Daenerys' hair, they spent tens of thousands of dollars on like single pieces alone. Like, I don't know, something just feels like that level of difference just makes it feel like it's a spinoff. So
yeah,
well, it's funny because the main lead actress, the young girl I'm talking about, when you're rivet counting the hair, her hair looks pretty good. Like hers looks good, but then the guys. Yes. Matt Smith's hair looks awful. It just reminds me of like Storm's hair from X-Men.
The one of the scenes that I watched was the old king walking with like the like little girl who's basically saying, "Hey, you know, I think we should combine houses and I can bear you all these children." And like her wig with like the tight curls just looks like I can buy it at a Spirit of Halloween store.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the kind of stuff normally on a streaming service I would be like, well, okay, that's kind of to be expected. But two things: one, this is one of them. This is a Game of Thrones prequel, and two, it's HBO Max. the expectation is higher, you know?
Yeah.
So those
they
things
just
are
fired a bunch
distracting.
of people, so
Right. But at the same time, I'm like, the acting is pretty strong, and I could see some interesting growth from the story. So I'm so on the fence. I need to follow through and give it the 3 episodes that I usually like to give something that I'm not like hating right away.
I mean, ultimately, we're probably going to give it a try. It's just we're not in a rush just because of how last season of Game of Thrones burned us so bad.
I know.
I felt like I was in King's Landing. I got burned so bad.
Well, and it suffers from the issue of the prequel too, where you kind of know what the future is for certain things.
And it's not that far in the past, and so much is tied to these lineages. Like tomorrow is the premiere of Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings show on Amazon Prime.
It's going to be an interesting comparison. We should probably really do a show.
I am definitely watching Rings of Power because
for sure.
I love Lord of the Rings.
And he's off tomorrow, so he has the time.
Yeah, and I'm off tomorrow. But yeah, it's just that like that one, it's way further back in time, for instance.
Yeah.
But still deals with characters that are going to be involved in, like, it actually has characters that are in the Lord of the Rings. Like Galadriel is there in Elrond. But and I think it's just I think that there's a kind of a lightness to Lord of the Rings, and even the Rings of Power will still have compared to the weight and drama of Game of Thrones that kind of makes it a little bit more palatable. But also it's just like I was burned by the end of Game of Thrones, whereas I was not burned by the end of Lord of the Rings. So I'm looking forward to that. I will catch up with House of the Dragon soon.
By the way,
I get into.
I was just gonna say. By the way, Space Mountaineer 91 says, "Hi, everyone."
Hi.
Yeah, that's Zach.
Oh, never mind.
Hi, asshole.
Yeah, right.
Fuck off.
Fuck off. Like shows that have premiered. Steven, have you got a chance to watch She-Hulk yet?
I watched episode 1 of She-Hulk. We didn't talk about She-Hulk?
No, because we didn't have an episode last week.
Okay, fair enough. Have you guys watched it?
I've seen clips.
I've seen it.
Oh, okay. I've watched episode 1, and I ended up with kind of mixed feelings on that one too. I almost have a similar feeling to it that I have with that I had with Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
Where me not necessarily liking it isn't fully a statement on quality of the show.
Yeah.
Because I see this. Yeah, I see this developing thing that makes me feel like Ally McBeal, which is a show that I really hate. But they never pretended this wasn't going to be that. You know what I mean? This was always going to be almost like a young woman struggling, with her life and love life and working as an attorney, that kind of thing. It was always going to be that. So I was always not the audience for it to begin with, but I did want to give it a chance. And the big thing I want to say right now is the CGI still looks like dog shit.
I found out why the CGI for She-Hulk bothers me so much is because she has no wrinkles or blemishes, or it's like a flat.
She's all flat.
It's a flat surface.
But
there's no humanity.
When you compare it to the CGI work of Hulk, like you see scruff, you see the creases in his face.
He's got hairs on his skin.
He has some scarring a little bit, like
his skin has texture to it.
She looks like a cartoon.
Yeah.
And it's even worse in episode 1 of She-Hulk because the Hulk and the She-Hulk spend a lot of time standing beside each other.
So you really see that contrast.
You do. And you can tell that they've been able to repurpose a lot of the elements they used to do the Hulk from the movies. So he looks pretty good. And also the Hulk doesn't look like his proportions aren't human.
Yeah.
Like he's just over big everywhere. So you can kind of get away with stuff a little more than someone who's just still built essentially like a normal person. So when their arm movement isn't exactly like what you would see in a regular person, you can feel it more.
Yeah.
The other thing
those things are really bad in the show.
The other thing that kind of helps with the Hulk CGI, typically, pretty much except for Endgame, is that when you have the Hulk on screen, it's around a lot of other CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of works a little bit better.
And it's usually a chaotic scene, so you don't really have those dramatic up close zooms.
Whereas She-Hulk is mixed in with normal human people. Episode 2 is fine too. I feel like the issues I have with 1 and 2 are it's all set up for the next episodes to be the actual court cases and the meat of She-Hulk. Like she ends episode 2 as I'm finally a lawyer with this new company and I'm doing superhero law stuff. And it feels like, great, now here's the show. And I think it's fine.
Maybe that does solve an issue that I had too, because I felt like, especially in episode 1, the attorney parts of the show were just a tool and not really important. And I thought that was kind of bad. And I also, and you can tell me if this gets better, but the additional characters around her in the law office, I thought they were awful. I thought they were trying way too hard to steal a scene or get noticed. I did not like the actors.
Depending on which characters, it could get better or it could not.
Oh, okay. I will probably, I'll do the same as I did with Miss Marvel. I'll give it another episode and see. But yeah, I knew going in this wasn't for me. It is a shame in a way that this wasn't. There's not more Hulk and She-Hulk together, because I did enjoy their chemistry. The sort of family chemistry that they had. I did enjoy that, but I think that's going away. He's not going to be.
He has like a small, like a phone call scene in episode 2. So he's not there. He's talking to Jen over the phone, but that's it. I don't think he's going to be there much more. They are setting up Hulk. It seems like they are setting up whatever Hulk is doing for this phase. So that's going to be interesting.
And Nico did tell me that it fulfilled one of my main things.
Barely,
but it did, that I've had since Eternals, in which it references the giant celestial hand coming out of the ocean.
Steven, you won't see it. It's text on the screen.
It's text on the screen in like one shot.
Well, damn it.
But it's a start, damn it. Someone needs to just say it.
It's interesting, though. I will say, and again, it's kind of sad that the Hulk isn't more part of it, because for better or for worse, and it should be for better and for worse in a way, just because that's how the internet works now. It's either shitty or great. There is a conversation between the Hulk and the She-Hulk in episode 1 where he's trying to mentor her, like trying to set her up for what she's going to go through as a She-Hulk. And trying to be the best, cousin. I think it's cousin, right? Trying to be the best cousin that he can be to her, and is inadvertently stepping on her own story, her own impact in the world. It's funny because the social commentaries, it's contrasting their different experiences in the Hulk world to a man and woman's experiences in the real world. And I love that that he does it, and he doesn't mean to, because it's so representative of what happens in the world. Some people do things, talk to each other in a way that they think they're trying to do good, but you can screw up if you're not thoughtful about it. And I like that scene, and the healthy conversation that it caused on the internet was pretty cool. There's a lot of really bad conversation too, really hateful stuff. But that's the internet. So I would love to have seen a little bit more of that built out. It would be kind of cool, but I knew it wasn't going to happen because I knew he was the Hulk was only in it for an episode or 2.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's okay. Right. It's probably better for some people than it is for me. Maybe.
Well, speaking of Marvel and people coming back.
Speaking of, Ben Kingsley is returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Oscar winner will reprise his star-studded role as actor Trevor Slattery in Marvel's Wonder Man project at Disney Plus, according to the Hollywood Reporter. The potential series in progress and not even in production, just still being worked on, is going to focus on one of Marvel's oldest characters, Simon Williams, Wonder Man, introduced in 1964. Initially as a villain, but eventually joined the Avengers. Wonder Man is a actor in comics as well, so it kind of I understand bringing in Slattery for that area. Wonder Man will mark Kingsley's 4th appearance in the MCU following Iron Man 3, Shang-Chi, and he also had a short film, and I forget which home video
All Hail the
release.
King.
It was All Hail the King, but I forget what release it was on.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Yeah, it would. All of those are now viewable on Disney Plus, so have fun. The Wonder Man is actually being created. The show is being created by Destin Daniel Cretton, the director of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. He is the show's co-creator and executive producer, along with head writer Andrew Guest, who worked on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That makes me happy.
Yep. So yeah, I hated that character in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
So I don't. All right. So here's the thing about it. Wonder Man makes sense because Wonder Man is an actor, and they're probably going to play on this actor who has superpowers. And let's throw the other actor that we have in the other character that is.
I'm calling it now. He got his superpowers after being exposed to the dragon.
Yeah.
No. It's not like Slattery's going to be the superhero. No, but it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, we have another character in the MCU that is an actor in the universe. So let's put them together. It's like, okay, fine. There were only 2 actors in the MCU apparently. Yes. But so I get it. It makes way more sense than Shang-Chi. I understood a cameo appearance, Shang-Chi dealing with the Mandarin, and Slattery pretended to be the Mandarin.
Right.
And it had been a cameo appearance, it would have been fine, but not
an actual story developing.
Yeah, he is the 3rd most important, the 4th most important character in the movie. Oh man.
This article took me on such an emotional roller coaster ride. Because I was reading it and I was like, well, I hate this character. I hated him in Iron Man. Hated what they did with him in Iron Man. Then I really hated him, like you said, in Shang-Chi, right? So I was like, ooh, I really don't want to see this character in something again. But then as I'm reading and thinking about Wonder Man, like you said, I started thinking, well, okay, it makes sense to have him in this particular film. And I like Wonder Man, and I like this actor. I like Ben Kingsley.
Oh, yeah, I love
and so I was starting to go on a high. I'm like, okay, this could work out. And then I saw that the movie is being directed by the same director as Shang-Chi, and it went, I just crashed and burned because I hated that movie. I hated it. So it was literally like a rise and fall. I don't know.
The fight scenes in the first act.
Okay, so here's
they were okay.
I like most of Shang-Chi. The thing that I don't like about Shang-Chi are making Slattery an actual character in the movie outside of
the friend going with them everywhere and becoming like a super
Aquafina, who I enjoy in things.
It's Slattery, it's Ben Kingsley character, and in that last act of the movie, it is I think where it falls apart. I think that's where the Marvel formula really kicked into high gear. We have to have this huge epic fight with all these characters. We can't have anyone on the sidelines, so we have to give Aquafina abilities of some magic bow stuff. And
made me so mad.
I mean, it's like, why? This was stupid. She didn't I liked her character for most of the movie up until then. She was fine, and then the CGI fight with the dragon was. It's just the ending of the movie is the hard part, and I don't know if that's necessarily directorial choice or Feige choice.
If the pattern continues for this particular role of Ben Kingsley's, it's going to. So Iron Man 3, I fucking hated it because it ruined one of my favorite villains.
Agree.
All Hail the King, I fucking loved it because it fixed what was wrong with Iron Man 3 for me. And Ben Kingsley was hilarious. That was the only time I could stand his character than Shang-Chi. No, that was too much. So if the trend continues, we're looking at an up peak, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know.
The thing is, that character is comedic in nature. And the fact that they have one of the writers from Brooklyn Nine-Nine gives me a little hope. Because
that's
Brooklyn
the one
Nine-Nine
hope there is.
Really funny. So
I think they should have done this movie 10 years ago with Nathan Fillion, though.
Yeah, I think Nathan Fillion's a little past his prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little old for the role to come into it now, which is unfortunate.
I know, because James Gunn wanted that. Like they made.
He hinted at it.
Well, he made like fake movie posters. They were supposed to be in Guardians 2. They ended up getting cut, but used Nathan Fillion as like the Jobs-esque movie, the Aaron Sorkin Steve Jobs movie, but made it like Tony Stark with Nathan Fillion playing Simon Williams playing Tony Stark.
Exactly.
And that kind of thing would be really neat, but I don't know who they're going to get for Wonder Man.
I don't have an actor like at the top of my head that I think would be great for Wonder Man. I don't know.
The interesting thing is, I wonder if they're going to build Wonder Man as being an Avenger, as he occasionally is, or if it's just going to be kind of a one-off. Because I think the MCU is at a point where they realize we don't have to put everybody in the Avengers movies. Like, we can have some of these movies just stand on their own and not necessarily tie everyone together all the time. So,
or at least not immediately.
Yeah. So, like, some of these Disney Plus characters can just exist on their shows on Disney Plus and not have anything else. They don't.
I would be fine, if they wanted to riff on Hawkeye not being, announced as a season 2 is annoying as hell to me. But if they wanted to do West Coast Avengers on Disney Plus, I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because you've got great characters. I've not liked necessarily the shows, but the characters are good that they have already on Disney Plus to kind of riff on that.
The one thing I have on that, though, is West Coast Avengers made a bit more sense when they had started in the 80s. But, like, especially the MCU version of the Avengers are already so globally like covered that it making just like, oh, we have another Avengers team. They're on the West Coast of the same country.
And that gets back to the problem, kind of the general problem I'm having with things being too OP to begin with, It'd still be cool though. Like, maybe the better thing to bring back would be like the Defenders, more like a ground poundery kind of thing. That would be cool.
Yeah.
And just say that for TV.
Work on Iron Fist, please.
Yeah, exactly. But I honestly think they should have introduced Wonder Man instead of Arrows, instead of Star Fox. I would much rather have seen him introduced as a character than Star Fox. I know why they went with Star Fox. I mean I know why they did that, but I just think Wonder Man's more interesting.
I think it's just also the Eternals aren't interesting. So
well, that's it. Yeah. All right. We'll see.
What do we got on that physical media release?
Yeah, what we got on Blu-ray?
It's an okay week for physical media. Not much in the brick and mortar. You're going to order most of this stuff, except for 1883, the Yellowstone origin story. That one seems to be everywhere. Cat People is out on a 4K. Belle is out on a 4K Digipack Collector's Edition, but that's a terrible ass anime. The Bionic Woman is out in a complete series. They're doing these on DVD, which normally bothers me, but I don't know how many years that show ran. I know is a lot, and you can get that for $25. So that's kind of neat. Yeah. The Miami Connection is out on 4K. These are Vinegar Syndrome releases. All About Evil is out from Severin. The Birds 2 Land's End is out from Vinegar Syndrome. That's a sequel to the Alfred Hitchcock movie done for HBO. Yep. And what is it? Tippi Hedren? Isn't she? Is it her that's in the original? Am I wrong about that?
I do not remember.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, she's in this one too.
The Birds is one of my Hitchcock holes. I haven't actually seen The Birds.
Oh, well, we need to.
I've seen it. It's just been so long, and I'm awful with names, especially when they're like older names that I don't see as often in media now.
I get it. I agree. I suck with names most of the time too. And then my recommendation, if you're going to pick up one thing this week, is Heavy Metal Parking Lot is out on a very nice edition from a Vinegar Syndrome partner label. That's a documentary. A documentarian went to a Judas Priest concert in 1986 and interviewed all the people going to that show.
Nice.
It is the most hilarious, weird little time capsule ever. And he ended up doing a whole series of parking lots, ending, I think, with Harry Potter parking lot. when he interviewed people going in to buy Harry Potter books.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is a fun movie. I highly recommend that one, directed by Jim. So there you go. That's what's up. All right, you guys. It was a reasonably brief show, but I'm glad we did it because we're out again next week. We're out last week prepping for 48-hour film project. Out again this coming week, but we are here Thursday instead of Wednesday, and we're going to be doing our fantasy film ball game. So that should be a bunch of ridiculousness.
Watch us band together to kick Zach's ass.
Yes.
Yeah, and if again, I'm going to add a few. If there's some listeners that want to play, we may try to add somebody. So hit me up in the comments here if you want to do that.
Just let me know who, so I can add them to the spreadsheet.
Absolutely, we'll get you in the game. And like I said, we'll give away some digital codes or something if you actually beat us. Which that ain't gonna happen. All right, Nico, where do we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Letterboxd under Nico Scream, NIKOSCREAM.
Tim?
You can find me on most major social media under Cheddar Popper, CHEDRPOPPR, and the.shadow.pupper on Instagram and TikTok.
Nice. All right, so find me here, Culturesmash, all things Culturesmash, and also here on YouTube under Off the Shelf Movie Night, obviously, and then OTS Movies over on TikTok. And again, come to the live stream tomorrow night, 7 o'clock CST over on Twinflix, and ask me questions about movie making. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. All right. I guess we will see everybody next week.
Bye everybody.